Sometimes you can't tell the ACs from the DCs. Probably none of you are old enough to remember Firesign Theater, but that was a famous line. So I got this new inverter. I mean, it was like really cheap. Look, it's got a digital voltage meter on it. That's 14 volts. And, it has this universal plug for 110, 220. It has a PD USB-C output. One of these jacks is blue, and the other one is red. Well, I should say white. That's just the blue light to indicate it's on. This actually has two voltage converters for the USB, so that they're not all just tied together. And, typical, you got a ground pin that doesn't exist. And here's the real interesting thing. Okay, we're going to go into the hot pin with this wire. Close the door and the light stays off. Look, in the neutral, it's hot. But look what it is. 134 volts DC. You switch this to AC. There's no AC on it. Yes. The thing is with China, once one person comes out with a product, everyone else starts copying it. So you're going to see more and more of these. I actually love this inverter. I got this for a DVD player that's 110 volts. And it says 17 watts on it, but plugged into this and running, DC consumption is just a hair over 6 watts. So I love it. Look it. You got, I have a monitor from a car, just like a 7-inch. And I can plug the DC right into that. So, I mean, I love this thing. Of course, it came with a case with teeny little holes in it. I get bored and I get my drill out, and I made a bunch of big holes. On the side, they had this sort of touch safe. So behind each one of these drill pieces, there was another piece of plastic. I consider this an educational toy. If kids want to stick a paper clip in there and get shocked, that's their education. So I took those all out. Not much to it. I added those capacitors, make things quiet with my audio system. But this is DC output, and like I say, many of my little inverters that have gone bad, I've just pulled out the H bridge and run everything on DC. It's quiet. You don't get any of that buzzing that you normally get with the square wave. And everything runs fine. But some devices with a voltage doubler will not work. If they have a voltage doubler and there's no switch, it won't work on this. And of course, if you have a capacitive dropping, something, or, phase controlled, it's not going to work with this either. But if you have like a clock radio or something with a transformer, something vintage that hasn't gone to a switching power supply, that transformer is going to burn up. So let's see if I can get this apart before my camera times out. So here it is. You got two 75N75s. That's a pretty good FET. It's a 75 volt, 75 amp. And when you mount them right to the circuit board, it makes a nice heat sink. You got the transformer. When I first saw this, I thought well, there's an inverter chip right there. So that makes the high voltage. You got a little inverter chip here, a little bit one there. You got this bridge. And then there's a little chip behind here for the digital readout. But I couldn't find anything that made AC. Oh, and one really nice thing, see that yellow square? That's a PTC fuse, so if it should draw too much current, it'll shut down, and you never have to replace this because when it cools down, it'll start conducting again. So yeah, this is it. Not much to it. Like I say, there's the two transformers for the USB, and you know, getting a PD is really unusual, especially with something so cheap. So yeah, they thought, you know, this is like McDonald's saying like, oh gee, people like our buns and they like our secret sauce. Maybe we don't need to put the hamburger in there. So but you know, I love this thing. It's cheap, really small, and you know, I do this a lot with my my inverters to get rid of noise. But the fact that the ground is on the hot pin